Hello fellow crocheters, it's Janet with CrochetPatternsForBeginners.com. I'm so excited that you stopped by today because we're actually going to make our first project together. Now, one of the cool things about how I designed this, our website and our YouTube channel, is I'm going to tell you what videos you need to watch in order to make the projects. So all the projects that I put up that are free as far as the video patterns go, if you want the written patterns, just stop at CrochetPatternsForBeginners.com. This particular pattern will also be up written and it's free. So it's with our compliments to you. We just want to teach you how to crochet and get used to reading patterns. All right, so what do we need to make this awesome dishcloth? Okay, we're going to need an eye crochet hook, and for our UK crocheters, that is a 5.25 millimeter hook. That's an eye, USI. You're going to need 2 skeins of peaches and cream in any color that you want, whatever colors. I'm just showing these because these are the jackets. I'm actually going to use some remnants that I have. I have a lot of this yarn and I want to use it up, and I didn't want to break these sleeves because I wanted to use them for demonstrative purposes. So this is really, you're going to need the most of one color and then another color for the border. So if you have a little bit of this, that's fine. If not, then just pick, I would pick maybe 3 colors for all 3 dishcloths so that you can crochet along with us as you want, and 3 should just about do it. You might have to pick up another one. We'll be able to tell the yardage at the end of the project here. In the meantime, grab 2 of these. If you have a local Walmart, they're $1.77 in the yarn section at Walmart, so they're very, very cheap, and they're wonderful because, like I said, you can make a lot of nice things with these. You can make gifts, etc. So just pick up 2 of these skeins. Okay, let's get started. Again, we have our eye hook, and we have watched videos 1 through 3 for this presentation. We're going to make our slip knot like we learned in video 1. And what we're going to do with our eye hook is we're going to chain 30. Now let me explain how we're going to make this. All right, we're going to start with the body of the dishcloth or washcloth, and then once we get the body done, we're going to add a contrasting colored border. It's that simple. Let's get going. Okay, for this project with our eye hook, we're going to need to chain 31. So let's do that right now. Chain 31. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay, we have 31, a chain of 31. Okay. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be single crocheting and back loop single crocheting, and that's how we're going to make our project today. All right, so the first row is just single crochet. So let's get that out of the way, and we're going to do 30 single crochet across. And like I said, I'll have the written pattern up here in a few days, and I'll post a link to that on our website. We're going to have quite a few free patterns. We're going to put up as many as we possibly can, and this will help you decide if our patterns are for you. You'll be able to see how we write the patterns, and then the videos will go with the pattern, so that's nice too. So if you're a visual learner, then you've got the videos, but if you want something that's written, which I do, then you've got the pattern as well. Okay, we're just going to keep going here until we get to the end. And what we're going to do is basically we're working now with 30 stitches, because remember we lose one when we go into that second chain from the hook. Excuse me. Let's get back in there. And if any of this doesn't sound like it's something that you already know, please go back and review videos 1 through 3. I'm not going to keep reviewing in the project videos because it would just take too much time. So when you come to your first project, you should already know how to do your chain stitch. You should already know how to do a single crochet stitch, and you should already know how to do a back loop crochet stitch. That way we can move through these projects because you've practiced with your videos on your technique. And then for the projects, we're just looking at how to put it all together. Okay, so we're going to keep going here until we get our 30. Goodness, I'm a little fumbly today. So here in a few seconds, we're going to have our first row laid out. This is a very easy pattern, but again, it's something that you can use and make some really nice gifts out. So when you're counting, make sure that you've got 30. And into that last one, everybody knows that this is always a little trickiest, the first one and the last one, so just go ahead and go on in there. And then crochet, single crochet. Of course it's going to be, see, even people that have been doing this for a while, the last and the first are always require a little more work. Okay, so we're at the end of the row, so we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn. Okay, so our first row was a row of single crochet. Okay, that's great. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do our second row, which is going to be back loop single crochet. Now remember I told you for this pattern we're going to go into the first one and we're going to just do a regular single crochet. Then we're going to back loop single crochet across, stopping before the very last stitch, and in the very last stitch, number 30, we're going to put in a single crochet. So we've got our back loop going here. And yes, that is my dog, one of my dogs. She's a little hyper, so she's having an emotional because I'm sure the male person is out there. That always gets her going at some point. And we're just back loop crocheting across again. Back loop all the way across because we're going to give ourselves a nice little ridge, so that gives us some texture so that we can scrub our dishes clean. Or our face. Whatever we want to use it for. I do like making these. They are pretty nice just to have. They're really workhorses. I have some that are, gosh, more than 7 years old and they're still just fine. It's just amazing how long they last, and they really will do the job that they were made to do. And some people even make dish towels out of this. I don't have the time for that, but I think it would be a nice project, a nice little homemade project, especially if someone just had a house and they're all excited because they've chosen a color and a theme, and you can make, the color for their kitchen, whatever they want. Okay, so while I'm getting some more yarn here, I stopped before I hit the last stitch, stitch number 30, okay? And what you want to do is you just want to do a single crochet into that stitch. Okay, do your chain 1 and turn. All right. Now what we have here, it's just a little curled, and that's only because we've only done 2 rows, and we did it where we did the back loop and the one. Now what you want to do is, this pattern calls for, and you'll see on the written pattern, but this pattern calls for 30 stitches and 30 rows. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do row 1, we did that, that's single crochet. Row 2, we did that, that's back loop single crochet. So now you're going to repeat. Every odd number will be a single crochet, and every even number will be a back loop single crochet. So that's the pattern, and meet me back here when you hit your 30th. So again, the odd rows are single crochet, and the back rows are single back loop single crochet. So we just did our second row, which was a back loop single crochet. So now we're going to do a regular single crochet in the next row, back loop single crochet, all the way up to 30. Row 30 will be a back loop, and you want to stop there. And once you get to that point, we'll talk about putting the border on. Okay, see you in a little bit. Hi, fellow crocheters. Okay, we're ready to finish the body of our first crochet piece, our first dishcloth. Right, so we're just, as I told you, our last row was our back loop single crochet. So we're just going to finish that up with these last 2 stitches. Okay. All right. I've already cut my yarn so that I could make the video a little bit easier. But what we're going to do now is we're actually going to take that out of that last stitch, and I'm going to just do our single crochet as I told you to do, but I'm going to stop before I wrap the loop around and finish the stitch. So I'm stopping now, guys, before I finish the stitch, and that's important. This is how we're going to add another piece of yarn. Okay, so we're just going to take our contrasting color for our border. All right, and we're just going to wrap it around. This is a little tricky, so just hold on to it, make your loop, and pull it through. Okay, you've joined your yarn. You want to get the main color there, right? Okay, so what you want to do is, and I cut this, so let's just pretend that I'm just cutting it, okay? Then what you want to do is you want to tie this together at the base. Okay, just tie it so that it doesn't go anywhere and so that your stitch doesn't lose it, and you're going to knot it. So you're actually going to do this twice. Okay, now this is a decent length for this. So go ahead and make the 2 tails the same length. There we go. Okay. Now we've joined our yarn. We're not using the green anymore, or your main color, whatever color you chose. We're using our border color, so we did it. So let's get that border on. The border is going to be beautiful. Okay, a little bit about this. Now remember, we had 30 stitches and 30 rows. So what we need to do now is we're going to put on a border of regular single crochet, and we're going to go down the sides of the border. We're going to go around the bottom, we're going to go around the other side, and we're going to go around the top. So it just makes sense that if we've got 30 rows and 30 stitches, we're going to make our border with 30 stitches as well. Now in the corner, when we join the yarn, what you need to do to make it straight is you need to go ahead and chain 1. All right, just chain 1. Everybody do that right now. And this is still in the corner stitch, so we want to stay in that stitch. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back in there and we're going to do another single crochet. Okay, so we've really got 2 single crochet stitches into the corner. All right, and let's go ahead and put one more. So we're going to actually make 3 single crochet stitches into one corner. So, but we're only going to count that as 1 as far as starting our 30. All right, so we have our tail here, and we have a tail here. Now what we're going to do to save ourselves some time is, you know, you've always heard about, oh, weaving tails is such a pain. And after you've crocheted for a while, and especially if you're changing a lot of colors, weaving tails is a pain. It's not fun. You just want your project to be finished because you're so excited. But here's an easy way to not have to weave a bunch of tails, and that is to just crochet on the top of them. So take your tails and lay them down right on top. And you might as well just learn this right now from the beginning. You're learning what's called a really good habit. So just lay those on the top, and we're going to crochet right over them. So we've got 1 stitch in the corner. Now we're going to put down our next stitch, which is a single crochet, and see how I just crocheted right over that tail? That's all you're going to do is just crochet right over the tail. If you can't get it, don't worry about it. You'll get it eventually because I'll have a video that shows you how to carry yarn too. Now, let's talk about how to identify these rows. Okay, there's 1 row. So again, we're in the 2nd stitch, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, row 7. So see, with that back loop, we actually have 1 row that's just slightly taller than the other, even though we did the single crochet at the edge, and that's okay because that's how it's supposed to be. So we've put down 2. Now we're going to go into the 3rd one, the 4th one, and see how I'm just actually single crocheting right over that. Now this part right here is a little tricky, so you might have to cut some of this off. The 5th one, okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I don't know what that fuzz is there, excuse me, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is see how straight that is. That's how I know I'm hitting it right on the money. In other words, I'm putting a stitch into each row. I'm not putting too many stitches or too few stitches because it's not pulling. It's just perfectly straight. And that's how you want it to be. Okay, so what we're going to do here though is we're going to make sure that we've got 15 stitches left because we just did 15. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so we have 15 stitches left, and that means that we're on the right track. So let's just continue on with our single crochet into the rows like we talked about. Now you've done your side, your first side, and quite frankly, the side and the beginning part of your project are the hardest part when you're doing a border when you're first starting out. So that's okay. And there we have another tail. Okay, so now we've reached our last stitch, or our first stitch of the next edge. So I want, just lay that tail right on there. We're going to enclose that tail with our crochet, and I want to do 3 stitches into the same stitch. You see that? It forms kind of like a little fan, doesn't it? Okay, so we've got 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 3 stitches. Okay, but when we're counting, we need to count this as 1. Now here we are. We're right to where we started, and this was our chain stitch. Now our chain stitch doesn't have really those identifiable parts that our last row had, which is a full single crochet with the V's. Okay, so it's a little trickier to identify where the stitches are, but let's take a look and see. Okay, there's 1 stitch there, 1 stitch there, 1 stitch there, 1 stitch there. So in this case, it's almost literally like the V's are going this way. Instead of horizontally, they're going vertically. Can you see that? That's a stitch. That's a stitch. That's a stitch. Stitch, stitch, stitch. So this is where we're going to put our border, and we want to make sure that we get 30, and we don't want to just put it in this top loop here. See that top loop? Don't go into that. You want to go into both. Okay, so the first 4 or 5 are going to be a little tricky, but that's okay. So see that right there? I've got 2. I'm just going to single crochet. This counts as my second stitch. There's the other one. Right into those 2. Single crochet. There's the next stitch right there. Single crochet. There's the next stitch with that V. And look at it this way. The V is pointing and telling you where to go. Okay, so let's see how many have we done here. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 's being a little challenging. 15. Okay. Let's make sure we've got 15 left. 15. Yep, 15. Okay, we're right on track. So let's just do our last 15 together. And now you are doing something called crocheting in the round. And I'll talk more about this. This is just the basic. I'll talk more about this to make like hats and things of that nature. But that's exactly what you're doing. You're crocheting in the round. Okay, here we are in our last stitch, our corner stitch. So we've got 1 in there. We're going to put 2 more. 2, 3. Okay. See how that just makes that nice, that corner nice and neat? And this will help your piece, it'll keep it square. And that's what you want. You want it to look nice. Yes, you do. Excuse me, I have to get some more yarn here, guys. I got a little discombobulated with my pieces. Okay, let's get this straightened out here. All right, so we've got 1. Now here we are again on the side. So we want to look for our rows. Right there, right there. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's perform a check. Yep, okay. So we've come to our edge stitch right there. We're going to put 3 in. And now we're on our last edge, and this is the great part, guys. Check it out. You don't have to worry about finding stitches. You can just go into your stitches this way. And you've got it. And the only thing we have to do is we just have to learn how to identify our corner here. Oops, a daisy, heavens to Betsy. Okay. We're coming down to the end. All right, one more stitch. Okay, now we're going to do something that we haven't learned before, and that's okay because we're here to learn. We're going to do a slip stitch, and what this means is we're going to bring this all together. Now, just insert your hook into your next stitch just like you normally would. See? Okay. Wrap your yarn around like you normally would. Pull it through. But don't wrap it around again to finish the stitch. Just pull it through. Let's do that again one more time so that you can all see it. Okay, so we're going into our last stitch. Okay, now we're going to do something that's called slip stitch to join, and a lot of times the abbreviation to that is SLST, to join. Okay, so go ahead and insert your hook just like you normally would, nothing new there. Yarn over like you normally would, pull through like you normally would. Don't yarn over again, just pull through. All right, you did it. Okay, you've got one border. If you like the border just like that, you could leave it like that. I prefer 2 rows. So the best part about this is that we have all of our stitches laid down now, so there's no more trying to find in between the rows. There's no more anything. We're just going to go right and do our normal single crochet stitch. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to the corner so that you can see where you put in your other stitches before. Okay, so here we go. We're going to chain 1 on this one though. Chain 1. Everyone chain 1. This is the only other time that you're going to have to do that. Okay, then you're going to go ahead and single crochet into that next stitch. Okay, now single crochet to the next corner. This variegated yarn is kind of pretty. I like it. Oops. Okay, if you split your yarn, don't worry about it. Just go back, pull out your stitch, and do it again. Because if you split it, it's not going to look as nice. So you might as well just do it right the first time. It takes more than one time to do it again. But that happens with cotton yarn. Don't feel bad about it. It's not you, it's the yarn. Okay, here we go. Let's see how much easier it is after you've done one round. You're just like, okay, wow, the stitch is right there. I can just go into and it's no big deal. I love it. Okay, so we're approaching our corner. Now we're going to see where our stitches are. So we can see that we've got the 3 in there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and go into this first one that's in there. Okay. Now, this is the middle one that's in there. Go ahead and go into that and put another stitch in there and another one. Okay, that was your center. So just find the center stitch that's in the corner and put your 3 into there, and see, look at how perfectly square that is. Isn't that awesome? It just looks more professional. We're going to do it one more time when we come to the next corner so you can see it. And I'll go a little bit slower the next time. Like I said, just look for that. You'll see your 3 stitches there, and you're going to go right into the center, and that's where you're going to make your next set of 3 stitches, and it's called increasing. And in that particular case, even though you're putting 2 stitches in one, or 3 stitches in one stitch, you're only increasing by 2 stitches, if that makes sense, because 1 stitch is already there anyway, right? Okay, we'll see how nice this is looking. Nice little border. Oh, nice and square, flat. It'll lay flat when you're done with your project, and that's what you want. You want to look like you know what you're doing. Okay. And hey, if you finish your piece, would you please do me a favor? Go ahead and take a picture or 2 of it and put a hashtag on it, crochetpatternsforbeginners.com. Send it to me at info@crochetpatternsforbeginners.com. That's information, INFO, at crochetpatternsforbeginners.com. And I'll give you a free pattern from any of our 3 websites. That's a pretty good deal. Okay. Here we are again. We're at our corner piece. We're and actually in the first of the 3 stitches that are there. You see, there's our 3 stitches. So here's what we want to do. We want to go into the middle one, so that's the next stitch. Okay, just go into it like we normally would, and some of these stitches are a little tighter. Okay, there we go. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. There, we did it. 3 times. Okay. We're on to our next corner, our next edge, I'm sorry, excuse me. See, once again, that's what happens when you when you put 3 in the end, you make your square, and it just looks so nice when you do it that way. Some people do 2. I went ahead and put 3 in this particular project. I just think it's more square, but it just depends on what stitch you're working with too. Some stitches are too tall to put 3 in, and 2 is just better. But for this project, because it's a single crochet, the stitches are smaller, 3 is better. And you know what, guys? We're almost done here. I am so proud of you. If you have watched video 1 and 2, and this is your first project that you made, please post it. This is what this is all about. It's more rewarding to me when I know that somebody's accomplished something than just watched a video. If you actually did the video and you made the project and you've got your first dishcloth, good for you. Okay, we are almost done, you guys. Look at that. We've only got 1 edge left, and we're going to have completed our first project. Okay. So here we are again. We've got our 3 stitches in the corner. So we're coming into that first stitch, and we're just going to single crochet there. There's our second or our middle stitch right there, and it's usually right on the corner, that middle top stitch. Let's go 3 times into there. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3, all in the same hole. Okay. All right, we're almost done. Let's go ahead. Let's get this taken care of. Now I'm going to warn you guys, I might run out of yarn here in this one part because I made this whole video and actually accidentally deleted it. Couldn't believe it after all this work. So this is my second time, so that's why I'm working with yarn that's already been cut. I had to take the pattern apart and start over. That's okay. It's worth it. All right, we are almost done, and maybe we'll make it, maybe we won't. I don't know. But we'll see. No, we're not going to make it. Okay, all right. Just bear with me, guys. I'm going to add yarn to it. This isn't going to happen to you because you're going to have enough yarn, but if this does happen, this is kind of a cheating way to do it, but I'm going to do it this way because I don't want to have to take it out and start over again. So I just tied the yarn in a knot, trimmed off the tails, and we're going to go with it. Because this is what happens, real life. Okay, we're almost there. I made that knot small enough, I should be able to hide it. You and I will know where it's at, but nobody else will. And it's not going to affect anything, so. Okay. We are almost done. I can't believe it. All right. Okay. We got one more stitch. See that right there? One more stitch. Okay. There we go. All right, we're in our last stitch. So what are we going to do? We're going to slip stitch to join. Okay. Now cut your yarn. Okay. Now wrap it around again, yarn over, and just pull it through and make a knot. All right. Very good. Now what you're going to do is you're going to look, first of all, before we weave that tail, let's just inspect and let's look for any tails that are poking out. Now these are the ones that we crocheted right over. So it's okay to trim those. Those are nice and secure in there. You won't have a problem with those. Okay, we're back to where we started with our tail. All right, this is a yarn needle. And what we're going to do with our yarn needle is we're just going to weave in our tail and we're going to be done. Okay, so what I do is I go right in the center of the stitches. See that? Take my needle right in the center. Just pull it through. Okay, pull that out so that it's all tight, and you can cut that off. Okay, now what we're doing here, other than our mess, this is our piece. Every piece that you knit or crochet will need a little bit of blocking. It's really just stretching it out to make it square. Okay, now I can't show you the whole piece the way that I've got this set up. More important that you see the stitches. Well, let's see here. Okay. All right. So this piece is actually it's very square, and that's because we did our corners the right way. Okay, so let's just go ahead and I'm going to fold it. I'm going to show you that it is very square actually. Fold it. Boy, I guess I couldn't get a job in a department store, huh? All right, there is our first dishcloth. You're going to love this. Like I said before, I have some that are several years old and they still work just as good as they did when I made them. All right, guys, congratulations. Come back and watch more videos and learn how to make your second project, and where we're going to make another dishcloth, washcloth, but what you're going to do is you're going to learn how to change colors, make stripes. Okay, happy crocheting!